And you can just
Hi everyone. Are we
get
live now? Yes, we are live. I wonder if we're going to be live on the same channels. I think we are. I pressed the wrong button.
Again?
You have too many buttons, David.
I do. I do to make. Can someone confirm that we're actually doing some? We're going somewhere and something.
Well,
What?
it says that you're not streaming
I
live.
I know, honey. We're working on it. Thank you. My wife just came in to save the day.
I see the part two.
Yeah. Yeah. We're up.
and
We're
it
live.
is
Okay.
in fact, live.
Yeah, we're live. Okay. Um,
So this would be how you would want to use agent. Is that what you were saying?
yes.
Just giving us an example of how you might be benefited by
To
having
not-
an.
Ow.
If I could just not press any more buttons. I'm so sorry. Hey, Tony, are you still on the other? Well, I can do it. I'll just post something over there saying, "Hey, we came over here." Let me grab this URL real quick, and I will go over to. For people watching, thanks. Has technology made us dumber? Yup.
Oh, I don't know. I
Yup.
think
There we go. That's the
anybody
show.
could have
See you
done
later.
that.
Bye.
Done.
We are continuing at here. Okay. All right. Well, let's just keep talking. What that? We'll see. This conversation is really just for us anyway. Hi, Gary. Thank you. And sorry about that. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. I don't even have a stop stream button. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
I think when you went to black, that it
No, it is. I'm
assumption.
just not sure why it went to black. I don't have that button anywhere. In any case,
Well, first of all, you being your own engineer is like wild. So the fact that you do this every week is like all that.
Preach it, sister.
I'm just
all
saying.
that and a bucket of something.
And a bag of bagels.
And a, and a
A
bag
bucket of
bagels.
carbide.
Okay, we're moving on from ChatGPT. Maybe I shouldn't have talked about it. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe the chat gods are angry at me now. Oh, I have an update, a very important update. So
What?
before the show, we were talking about how sad we are that Stephen Colbert and The Late Show are going away at the end of this year in May. But last night on Stephen Colbert, in his Meanwhile segment, he mentioned the band that we talked about last week.
The velvet.
Right. He didn't mention them by name, but he said that apparently that band came out and said, they didn't say anything, but said, we are AI. So we don't, none of you need to lose any more sleep over that because we weren't sure if it was AI or not. We now know that it was actually AI. But
A little asterisk for you is that Rick Beato spent 8 minutes creating a performer, making up a song lyrics, giving it music, and finished it in 8 minutes.
did he really?
Yes.
That's about 4 times as long as it's
Just to
supposed to do
prove
that for the
that
Zoom test.
all that work he did to learn how to play guitar and be a producer and all the rest, throw that
Don't
away.
even
I
need
can
it
make
anymore.
music now.
Right.
Don't even need a room full of people. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And my 2 cents are I'm taking any PR that comes out about Stephen Colbert with a huge grain of salt
hmm
Okay.
because the PR department is working overtime to make everybody look good. And I think the people that are going to lose the biggest are going to be CBS. And now we're going to get shut off. Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
They are not our parent
Moving
company. So, hey, let me just bring this up real quick. So, Tlaloc is saying, I had a really interesting discussion with ChatGPT the other day about the book I read called The Thinking Machine, which chronicles AI. It was like having an ontological conversation with a machine. Yeah.
Yep.
I do that quite a bit, actually.
I asked ChatGPT today if it was making us dumber.
Okay. Second news topic. We're getting really behind here. I am a little obsessed with building websites. I build a website. When I have an idea, the first thing I do is I build a website. I buy the URL and I build a website for it. And I use Wix, which is a fantastic company. Well, I don't know anything about the company. It's a fantastic tool. It's basically a WYSIWYG. You can kind of drag and drop, and it's website building for idiots like me. But it's a step above. It's a number of steps above Google Sites and things, and Canva websites and things like that. So apparently, Wix introduced an AI visibility overview tool, which tracks AI citations and brand sentiment. So you can see how often your site is mentioned by AI platforms, manage which questions are associated with your business, monitor brand sentiment in large language models, and compare their AI visibility to competitors. I think this is fascinating. I don't really
And I don't
understand
believe
it.
it.
I don't really understand it either. But here's what I think is shifting, Lois. Let me just say this one last thing. For the past 10 years, maybe longer, it was all about SEO. It was all about search engine optimization. And what this is suggesting is that it's not anymore. That now it's about generative engine optimization. Now it's about how can we get the AI. There was a lot of frustration about the AI being trained on our stuff. You want the AI trained on your website because you want it to point back to your website or however it works. Go ahead, Lois.
So I've been trying a number of these different AI programs, and most of them don't tell you where they got the information. So I don't see how this is going to link back to the company. The AI report doesn't have a link on it, and if it did, where would that information go? So I'm
So
very skeptical.
right. So if you're right. If I were to just type a prompt in, tell me what you know about the news today. Right, then it's not going to, I don't think, in this type of, no, it's not giving me, actually, it did give me citations. So I thought it was only in deep research, but this actually will give you now citations just into the regular old, which is nice. Right? So now you can click through, and then what it'll do is it'll bring you there, and I believe it actually... I thought it would highlight the text, but apparently not. That's a shame. I thought it did that.
But do all the AI engines do this? Because I have not seen that, and most of the times I tried something.
I've seen it recently. Like, it was not doing it. You're correct, Lois. It was not doing it. But in the last couple of days, I've seen it even in low-level searches that it's given me citations.
So this is
Okay.
Claude.
This is something new.
Yeah, so this is Claude now. I just put the same exact thing in. So this is interesting. Yep. It gives you links right here. And
Okay, so that's
and this
I'm
I
just
actually
out of
like.
date already.
Look at this. This is nice. I like the way he does this. I'll search for today's news to give you the most current information, and then it shows you exactly where it went.
Ah.
And then it gives you the citations down below also. So that's nice.
So that will be where the money is made, right?
I guess
Because that was the thing with Google, is that, we don't really know how it's prioritizing, because it's prioritizing based on back end money that we don't see. So I think that, like, that's going to be the question, is that when it does bring me back stuff, I'm like, how did you know to get those particular sites? Like,
Right.
where is that? How is that prioritization happening? And so I think that's going to be the part to watch.
Nate,
And
just
are the
ChatGPT,
websites
please
paying?
make me make me a link list for cars.
Yeah.
And
well, no,
So-
with the agent, you won't even do that. With the agent, you'll
Right.
tell it exactly what you want, what your price point is, and it'll go out and find it. And then it'll buy
well,
it.
I'm saying that it'll cloud up the internet with listicles.
Possibly.
So,
It's
one of
it's
the
not
things that's-
always better. It's not always better to have exact data, though. Like, we can see that with Netflix, right? Because literally the broadcast television model has collapsed and will not ever come back, because we now have an exact science. When we had Nielsen ratings, it was kind of like flexible. There weren't that many. And so we could, that data put everybody on an equal playing field. The data is completely accurate. All Netflix has to do is go to their computers and go, Tamara, watch this for 15 seconds, period.
So, do you think that, such as if you do a search on Google, without just ignoring the AI part at the top, and it's a regular Google search, the first things you see are people who have paid to be at the top of the thing.
Right.
Oh,
Do you think
obviously you
that
haven't
that is
used.
going to be what is on AI? In other words, are the companies going to pay the AI programs to be pushed up to the top?
I will give you the option of trying to, rather than say Google, try Bing, and that will give you your answer.
Well, so actually, Nate had a video. Nate, the AI guy, because I don't know his last name.
Nate B. Jones.
Yes, Nate Jones had a video about how Google's click-through rate is really going down. Now, let's just keep that in context. I mean, they have 9 billion searches a year, I think. So they're not hurting for searches, but it's gone down significantly. And it's not because of OpenAI. It's not because of anything else. It's because of it's because of the little AI answer that you get at the top of your Google searches. And I'm
Right.
trying to do one now so I can show you, but I'm actually not getting
Yeah,
it.
they used to be a couple lines in a paragraph, and now it is a full page with scrollable text.
Well, if you open it up.
And they have AI mode, right? So
Right.
if you go to Google now, and I mean, boy, are they trying to draw your attention to it right here. If you click on AI mode, then you don't even get the traditional answer. Here's that same question again. And it's going to, I mean, look at 61 sites in not even 3 seconds. Now this does not have a lot of links, which I don't like. That to me is a that's not as good. Like
I
you,
think
Tamara,
that's why people
I
are
want
using
links.
ChatGPT more.
Right.
Are the links at the bottom of that list? There were some icons there,
Yeah,
but you went
so
past
there
that.
are
Didn't
two links here.
coming down further.
Down at the very bottom. No,
Yeah.
so this is to
What are those
elaborate
things?
if you want more information.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, and we as
and
a
there you
species
have.
had been trained to ask questions of the machine, and now that they're changing the platform on AI and Chat GPTs, we as a species don't know how to speak, to an associate or to an assistant. We've been trained how to ask a question, and that took us all, what, 5 years to get the entire planet to learn how to do that?
Well, the other piece of that is that Google, we could all ask the exact same question to Google and it would bring us totally different things based on what our kind of Google Cloud allows for it to come back to. And that's similar with ChatGPT. ChatGPT will, like, I will ask a further clarifying question and it'll be like, oh, Tamara, that is so insightful. Let me give you that information. And it is really a mirror of what I am giving it. I'm like, what if I propose it this way? Then it's like, yes, that way. And it validates it. It doesn't necessarily come back with a counter argument. So I think that that's where the danger of it is.
I was going to show you. Tlaloc was saying that you can ask it for citations. There's one particular site that I like using when I'm citing scripture, and so I will tell it to give me citations from that website, and it does it flawlessly. I believe that only happens right now when you're using deep research, but we're sort of getting off topic here. But getting back to the Wix piece of it, I don't think we've even begun to scratch the surface of understanding how artificial intelligence, not only in its current form, but in whatever it's going to become, is going to change everything for the good and for the bad, probably,
Right.
but change everything. It's really pretty profound, I think. pretty profound.
How
In
you
show.
feeling, David?
I'm actually fine, but there is someone here who really needs some help, I think.
Help?
Dave Troutman, are you okay?
Well, recently I discovered that I've been collecting for, I got onto the internet in 87. So it's been a while. And I have all these articles and these clippings and PDFs and links. I've got lots of links. And I have all these documents. And I kind of feel like I'm guilty of not reading them. Maybe I read them, thoroughly when I put them in the pile, but I haven't ever used them since. And I'm wondering if I should just purge them all, like we would in the backyard, throw them all in a big fire and just celebrate them to be gone.
No.
No.
So, my company was the organizer, and I help people deal with situations like this. Now, usually I was dealing with people who had papers and like that, file cabinets and folders, but I think you're talking about on the computer, aren't you?
You bet. Yeah.
So the question is, if you want to keep something that you want to be able to use again, then you have to have a system of retrieval. And so you need to put it in however you think and that was what I did for a long time. So I helped people design those systems so they could get the information back that they needed. But when you're putting it in there, and this was before computers when I started, so it was, papers. And the question was, is it something you think you need to keep for legal reasons or whatever? Or is it something you think you'll use again? Or is it something that is so unique that you will never have another copy, like your birth certificate? So that's how we would triage going in to the system, the papers going in. Now, at the point where you've got piles and piles and piles, or in your case, files and files and files, you can do what I do, which is I put everything on my desktop when I get it in, and I got all these pictures and folders and all the stuff on my desktop on my computer. And so every few years, I just go, okay, I'll make a new folder that says sort these, and I'll put the date 2022-02, and I'll put everything in there. And the reason that it works is that on the computer that I have, which is a Mac, I can search for any word or any combination of words in the entire computer, and it doesn't have to know where it is. So if I want to say, show me anything that says birding with Lois, well, it'll come with all the files, all the folders, all the pictures that have that word in it. So should you throw everything away just in a lump? Before you decide to throw it away, just shove it in a folder and set it over on the side. And if you ever decide you want to sort through it, you can. And if you never touch it again, then when you die, your kids will just throw it away and they won't know what's in it. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, it's not a question of, you see, I've convinced myself that I may need this someday. I've convinced myself that this article needs to be preserved, or I've talked myself into these cartoons that my son sends me are great. But I'm sorry, it was when he was 12 and it isn't relevant anymore. So I guess I'm just a little feeling guilty that I've done all this rationalizing of why I need these things, but I probably don't.
Well,
I would
the
say,
real question is, do you want to spend more time sorting through things and deciding what to keep and
Oh,
what?
retrieving is not a problem. No, I can
I
find
mean,
these things. They're easy to find.
that's not the point. The
Yeah.
point is, what do you want to use your time for now? If you
Right.
want to use your time sorting,
Right.
great.
But am I thinking about these things or am I just collecting them? Are they trinkets in my file folder? Am I Am I
Is
just
it in
having
your
them
brain
because
or are you using your computer as the source, the outside brain for you? So
it's my file cabinet of possible futures, maybe? But I don't ever find myself, well, not ever, in my trading folder. I use it all the time. But when I'm not, when I'm looking up things about education and all that, I'm not in the field anymore. And I don't need to research this stuff. I don't need to keep up to date as much. I mean, I do keep up to date, but I don't have to keep it. I just have to thoroughly read it and think about it, I think. But maybe
electrons
I'm
are
held
cheap.
back.
It
Yeah, I know
doesn't
that.
take up space
We
in your.
talked about photographs the other week, and yeah, it's easy when you don't, you just delete them because it's cheap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Sakai.
Well, a year ago, we were very blessed to have to move into a very large home that my father-in-law had built with bookshelves. And of course, he was going to sell this house when he was building it, and he wanted those bookshelves to be full of books because people with money love books. So he found probably 20 sets of encyclopedias and filled these bookshelves 40 years ago with all kinds of Britannicas and blah, 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 examples of knowledge and wisdom of that era. Well, 40 years later, since 10 years ago, when my father in law passed away, we now have inherited dozens of sets of Encyclopedia Britannica. Amazing knowledge, wonderful wisdom. I will never look in there. So
Mm-hmm.
we now had to inherit my father-in-law's props because that's where Tamara, you and I understand there are
Yep.
prop houses that will gut these, put the insides full of styrofoam, and then put them up on a set just like behind Tamara's head there, and all of a sudden make it look very smart because look at all of that, you know, knowledge that's behind her there. Well, I would say take all of your files, put them into a chat GPT or a Claude or a Google or some archive device so that you can. I have changed the way I learn by searching because of the Google and the Chrome, because I no longer keep folders of things because it's the metadata that's the key. And now we can collect it all together. So that's my tale of woe in the archive of knowledge. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel your pain. I really do.
John, you got some advice for me?
Well, I just want to talk to Scotty about the advice. One of the things that we did, or I should say, we as a friend of ours trying to help, but they had a whole bunch of books, glued them all together, and then carved them out. And he puts all his junk on the bookshelves, but then he has this
That's
one book that
Covers with
just
the
goes
books.
there. So he's got a beautiful
That's
all this
genius.
All the
and we
knickknacks
joke,
behind the books.
yeah,
That's
all
great.
knowledge is here. He says yes, and he pulls it out, and there's all his stuff.
That's amazing.
I'm an academic like you are, and I save stuff. So I basically electronically save it by year. So I have folders, and I've saved every email since I started. I still have things from AOL back when I did a course on
Me too.
AOL, and we had the
Mm-hmm.
keyword Chico. Electronic junk is not a problem because it can be retrieved and it's electrons. My biggest problem was the physical stuff. You know, how do you keep a neat desk? I've always told people that a clean desk is a sign of a sick mind. And if you look at my desk, I have a very healthy mind, although we are
That
talking
was my
about.
father's theory as well, yes. And I've told a lot of people when shooting in their office, CEOs and that sort of stuff, they want to clean up their desk. And I go, well, yeah, it'll look like you don't do anything. So just leave it.
Empty desk is
Tamara?
a sign of an empty mind.
No, I have so many. I love where Sky went because Sky started with how research has changed, right? So research was those Britannicas, and then it became more complex. And now it's the storage that I have that has a lot of hard copies of things in it. I have I have thousands of scripts just in a storage area, which I would love them to be digitized. Now, no one's photocopying scripts. They just have them digitized and they're in big databases. And so what you have is a collection of things like I do, and I imagine everybody on this call does, where we have lots of stuff we've collected along the years. I think the transition, what we're going to see with ChatGPT is that we're going to be like, hey, can I get this article again? Then I don't need to save it. So I think that's going to be the things that are going to be shifting and growing. I wish you the best of luck. I will not have any good advice because I personally am not going to go through the files. I have a similar system. After I get tired, I put it all into a folder and I label it in Tamara's transfer folder, and that is the folder that I would go back to organize that has never been organized. But I do often find documents that I remember saving that I do need. So
I
I
find
feel
lots
like
of
that
memorabilia in there.
that digital craziness is far better than the storage full of stuff. So
There is
I
that,
feel
yes.
so I feel it's a step up for me, and I'm not really willing to let it go yet. So I have
I've
no good
unloaded a
advice
whole
for
lot
you
of
that way.
hardware, collections of computers and things, and I never let them go. I have my original U-matic playback machine from, like, it's serial number 0067 out of Japan. So it's like one of the first that arrived in North America, and I still have it. But my wife goes, who's ever going to use that? No
But
tape will play in it anymore.
Here's the thing, though. Everybody asks a book owner, people who love books, well, you never read these. Why can't we just get rid of them? And that is a horrifying thought to people who love books and love
Because they're
research and
alive.
love.
They're
I
alive.
have
Right.
that
Yes.
feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
if you're familiar with the Tuki books on presenting graphic information.
Yeah.
But
Tufty.
those who don't know, Tuffy is a genius in
A
terms of
master.
representing data. There are workshops, and he has 3 books. They're almost coffee table books. And as a professor, I had a couple of them. I had one at home and one at the office. And for the longest time after I retired, is why are you keeping all these books? And so I said, yeah. And the Tuffy books are not inexpensive. I think it's almost $150 for the set. So I found one of the people at the university who was instructional design doing graphics, and I sort of said, I've got my Tuffy books. I have 2 of them. I really don't need them. So here they are.
I'm just looking behind myself to see where my Tufties are.
Where they are. So I gave it to him.
Yeah.
About 8 months later, I came and said, what do you think about the Tuffy books? And he says, they're great. I said, yeah, aren't they wonderful? He said, yeah, come look. And he had set them on top of his computer, and the monitor was on top of that. They said, they're the perfect height.
Perfect size, yes.
And that's when I sort of realized, well, maybe,
Man, repurposing a book, yes. Tony, you got any idea?
That's why eBay is so good. You put it out there, someone buys it, you send it off, and you never have to see what they did with it.
That's right. They might have just.
And they send your dog to the puppy farm. Yeah.
There you go. That's right. Send them off to the farm. Tony, do you have a problem like this, or you're okay?
He's okay.
Not quite. I do have a lot of documentation, things that I've deemed that are important. I move everything that I think is important to my notes. If it's not in my notes, then I have files all over my computer, my primary computer. But if I deem that it's important, I'm going to move it to my Apple Notes, and it's easily searchable. And the other thing too is that I can access it on the computer, I can access it on my phone, and I can access it on my iPad. Yeah. So I those things that are important to me, like my sermons, I can access them easily in notes.
Okay, I'm going to give that a thought too. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Delete anything.
Bundle it up. Set it aside.
Never know.
I feel less guilty now than I did before. Yes. Thank you, everybody.
You never know. Tlaloc says, my concern is the opposite. Manuscripts by my father that were written on an old Macintosh. Those files are not readable by current word processors. What a nightmare. Yeah.
But they are readable, and it is certainly possible to extract those. Don't ever get rid of them. And if you need help getting them extracted, there's a number of places to go. I don't know where you are, but here at our university,
he's everywhere.
Davis, there are people, there's a department to help the professors recover their old stuff. And they have every form of computer that was ever used by anybody on campus. It's marvelous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can't be unique.
Okay, I'm going to push us forward. Beauty Bubble has a question for you, Tony, but I'm going to let you respond to her on the side, perhaps. Sorry, Beauty, because I want to make sure we have time to talk about how dumb we are. So